For advanced operation, let's take a look at the advanced menus that we've got here. I scrolled to the right to the last function we can go through. So CLCK, that's a setting for changing the clock. Pressing the edit button, and you'll be able to scroll through the different settings here, right and left to go back and forth. And when you get to a setting you want to change, going up or down will change the value as you're working your way through. MDY is the method of displaying the date, month, day, year. And when you're done, you'll press this button to save your settings. On a radio that's been properly charged in the charging bank at the headquarters station, pressing the BAT button will show you what the capacity of the radio battery is right now, and there's a problem with the software in this battery of mine, so it does not show its capacity. It shows you how many times you've charged it and when it was first put in service. Pressing the home button will get you back out of this. When you are in scan mode and it's scanning through channels, if you run into a channel that's got some interference, and maybe it's stopping on that channel over and over again, you can press this middle button for nuisance and it will temporarily delete that channel from the scanning so it won't keep hanging up on there. And as soon as you turn the radio off, it'll clear that out and reset itself. So you might be by an area where there's interference that day, and that'll help out.
11 Central, can I get a 29 on 2, please?
Notice also on the display that when somebody is transmitting, their ID shows up immediately below the channel.
Lincoln Edward Young,
And that's
Lincoln
normally
Adam
the
Nora
line
David,
where
first name Geraldine,
it would show you who you are.
John Edward Robert Ida Lincoln Young.
In digital
Nora
mode,
David,
you'll see 5 numbers. In analog mode, you'll see 3 numbers.
12/19/1986. How copy?
This is one of the Fargo PD squads, and when dispatch comes back, they've got a single number for them. The last function is the zone function, and when you press this zone function, you can use the right and left arrow keys to select which zone you want to be in for channels. Pressing
Last name Leland.
the home or enter button
Lincoln
will
Edward
bring you
Young,
then to that
Lincoln
zone.
Adam Nora David.
Now we are in zone B in a whole different series of channels. If you end up getting off zone A where you want to be at and you're not sure how to get back, pressing and holding the home button will bring you back to zone A, channel 1. We're going to talk about programming the scan on the radio and using the scan. It's important to note a couple tones that the radio makes. When you press a valid key that can do something, it makes a high-pitched note, like that. When you press a key that's not programmed to do anything, it'll make a lower-pitched note, like that, so it's something that you can't do. But every so often you may find a radio that's not been set up for scanning properly, so when you press that side scanning button, you'll hear a steady long tone, and if you look at the display it says empty list. It means the scan has not been programmed in on the radio. You can deactivate that by pressing the scan button again, and we'll go into scan programming mode now so you can see how to add channels so it won't do that. It's got to have at least one channel in there so that it'll scan. So we're going to press and hold this scan button on the side so the radio beeps and enters programming mode. Now we'll know that it's in scan programming mode right now because there is a flashing box in the upper right hand corner of the display. Here we've got some new menu options that show up on our window. Select for adding a channel, delete to delete a channel, and recall to see what we've got in our scan bank right now. And we haven't programmed anything in, so we're going to go through the initial programming of this. I'm going to add this MFD1 as a channel we can scan by pressing the select button, and you'll now see that a Z has shown up right next to the flashing box to say this is a channel that will scan. If I press the select button again, a single dot appears. This channel can have 2 different priority channels that it scans, so no matter what's going on in other channels, it'll come back to those. A single dot means this is the secondary primary channel that it'll scan. And a flashing dot means this is the one it's always going to be checking first. And so we'll want MFD1 to always be the channel it's checking for first. So if we're listening to radio traffic from FM ambulance but somebody calls on our frequency, it'll jump right over there. You can advance the channels by using the channel selector knob on the top till you get to another channel that you wish to add. We're going to add MFD2 to the scan list and not make it a priority. Let's add FM ambulance to this. Let's make them our second priority by pressing that select button twice. We're going to add Moorhead Police, Fargo Fire 1, Fargo Fire 2, we'll add Clay County today, West Fargo Fire, and the Dilworth Fire Repeater. Now you're not limited to scanning channels just in your own zone. Right now we are in Zone A, which is where we're going to be most of the time. But by pressing the right or left arrow buttons, it'll switch to different zones so you can access different channels. And so for example, we may want to be able to add FM ambulance's second frequency. And we can do that in Zone G. Or let's say I want to monitor Fargo PD, I can switch to Zone B. And now I've got Fargo PD's frequency. I'm going to continue to add frequencies till I fill up the list. We can have 15 channels that we can scan in the radio. And there'll be another program on what all the channels mean. When you hear that low tone beep, it means you've entered the maximum number of channels that you've got in there. You'll either need to delete some channels or just be happy with that list. Now you may wonder what we've got in the scan list. This recall button will show you what you've got in there for frequencies, and each time you press the button it'll show you the next channel in the scan list, and it'll show you what it's got set for priority as well. So checking through this, you may say, okay, that's all great, but I don't care about FPD2. So I'm going to delete them, and that'll give me a chance to enter something else that I really want to have in here. I'm going to add in Fargo Public Works. And if I try to add another one, the list is now full. You can also quickly clear out the whole scanning memory by hitting recall to see what's in there next and delete, and continuing this process over and over again until you've cleared all 15 channels out of the scan list. And when it starts that low beep, it means there's nothing actually in there to recall. Once you've gotten some channels in the scan list and you're all done, you can press the home button. It'll exit from programming mode, and now if you press scan, it'll actually scan something. And that's it.